It's all over your For You page, millions of views, and one bold claim.
I have this mocktail every single night.
It's the drink that's waking up the internet.
Is it weird that it kind of smells like wine?
The Sleepy Girl Mocktail. Racking up over 55 million views, some TikTok users are claiming it's given them the best sleep of their lives.
A simple 3-ingredient drink can give you the best sleep of your life. And it's called the Sleepy Girl Mocktail. But is this a biological breakthrough or just a little bit of clever marketing on their part? Today we're going to dive into a little bit of the chemistry behind this viral trend. We're going to explore the evidence, the side effects, and why for some of you it might be acting as more of an alarm clock than a sleep aid. The recipe keeps it pretty simple. It's usually half a cup of tart cherry juice, a scoop of magnesium glycinate powder, and then you add in a little bit of fizzy water or a prebiotic soda. And the plan is you drink it about 30 to 60 minutes before you plan on going to bed. Crucially, it is a mocktail, so it means that there's no alcohol in it, although I'm sure some people have tried. But alcohol can suppress certain stages of sleep like REM, so you're not going to get the same restorative benefit. But that's for another time. Instead, this drink seems to purport giving you nutritional precursors to good sleep, basically by giving you the raw building blocks your body would normally make and create to aid you in drifting off. However, we need to remember that restorative rest isn't as simple as just putting blocks in place. Let's talk about the secret sauce, or the cherry tart sauce, although for most of you known as tart cherry juice. And the reason for that is that tart cherries in particular contain a natural source of melatonin. And melatonin is kind of like the darkness hormone, one of the signals that tells you it's time to wind down. It's basically the hormone that tells you it's bedtime. But the dose in tart cherry juice is tiny. It's about 85 micrograms, which if you then look at supplementation given to you by your doctor is roughly 1,000 to 10,000 micrograms. So do we already think that that's having the same effect? And don't get me started on unregulated hormone supplementation. Although if you do want to hear that, comment below. The real magic, I suppose, comes from how it purports to protect tryptophan. It's the famous amino acid that people talk about when they've had lots of turkey and say that they've slept really well on Christmas night. However, the amount of tryptophan in turkey that eventually becomes melatonin, again, is so small it's unlikely to have an effect. So we're stepping into the realms of myth there. But perhaps more on turkey another time. That said, tart cherries also contain something called procyanidins, and you can view those as a little bit of like a bodyguard for the tryptophan going in, which means more of that can travel to the center of the brain where it's broken down into melatonin. Now, one study did actually show that there was an 84-minute increase in the total sleep time for some patients when they took tart cherry juice. Sounds promising, right? But we have to be honest, that study had about 8 people in it. And in the science world, we would consider that preliminary data. And yes, it's absolutely promising, but we're not going to take that as gospel just yet. Okay, so tart cherries show some promise, at least. But what about the scoop of magnesium glycinate that people are popping into the drink as well? Well, you can think of magnesium as almost like your brain's brake pedal. It activates receptors in your brain known as GABA, and that essentially tells your nervous system to just quiet down a little bit. However, again, we've got to be realistic. If you are dealing with high stress or chronic insomnia, that brake pedal is far too mild to have a real true effect. That's often going to be far too weak to stop something like a racing mind and might prevent some people from accessing the care and the treatment that they actually need, known as cognitive behavioural therapy for insomnia. So I don't necessarily want people having a drink delaying their access to someone that is going to help them professionally. But why magnesium glycinate? What's the glycinate part? Well, some claim that the glycine within that supplement aids in your core body temperature being brought down. And core body temperature dropping is one of the big cues that your body is ready to sleep. And whilst this nutrient can dilate blood vessels, that does in turn reduce body heat, in actual fact, the effect is so small, you're going to get a bigger effect by just turning your thermostat down or by having a warm bath before bed. Now, here's the bit that your influencers never seem to mention in the videos. Sugar. Pure Tart cherry juice contains about 25 grams of sugar, which you might as well just be having a soda can or a fizzy drink at that point. And drinking something like that right before bed is going to cause a sugar spike followed by a crash. And for some people, this crash almost triggers like a rescue response within the body. In response to that, your body will pump stress hormones like adrenaline to try and bring your blood sugar level back up. So all of a sudden at 2 or 3 a.m, you've got a surge of adrenaline going through your body and you're very, very likely to wake up. So if you're finding after having this drink that you're waking bolt upright at 2 or 3 a.m, the chances are that sleepy mocktail that you had has become alarm clock mocktail. But okay, I hear you. Some people are still going to want to do this. So what are the true risks? So it's important to know that this mocktail can interfere with certain medications, particularly those like blood thinners. So if you're on something like warfarin, this isn't for you. And if your kidneys aren't at 100%, they can sometimes struggle to clear out excess magnesium, which in itself can be worrying. And although this isn't going to be a large proportion of you, those with something like myasthenia gravis, which is essentially a condition that causes muscle weakness, magnesium can actually make this worse by blocking the signals that tell your body to move. So if you're having the mocktail instead of a glass of wine, okay, maybe I'm right there with you. But it's absolutely not a cure for chronic issues such as insomnia, and don't let anyone tell you that it is. If you really want the benefits without perhaps the sugar 3 o'clock alarm, then you might lean towards something like a pure tart cherry extract in the form of a capsule, and just leave the soda stuff to one side. And that's your sleep edited.